Hi there, this is Catherine. Thanks you for listening to my SEO Tips micro podcast. So, before we get into today's SEO tip, I just wanted to share with you the ways you can support the podcast if you're enjoying all the tips and finding them useful. So, you can send me a donation at buymeacoffee.com/Catherine W. Ong, O-N-G, and that's Catherine with a K. Any and all levels of donation are appreciated. It will help me offset the cost of producing the podcast. So, that's buymeacoffee.com/Katherinewong. I'd also encourage you to subscribe to our email list to make sure you're not missing any future episodes or any other news about the SEO Tips podcast. And to do that, you'd go to wostrategies.com/newsletter. Okay, on with today's tip.
Did you know that you can try to optimize your content for Google Discover? Hello, thanks for listening to SEO Tips today. I recently read a new set of research on Google Discover. Google Discover is that feature on Android phones which presents personalized content to a user without them searching. The Search Engine Land article covered which industries are benefiting from Google Discover exposure, and here are my notes from the article. So, based on the announcement about Discover, there's two ways that Google determines which content to display in Google Discover. One, they use Google News, AI, and machine learning to bring a variety of perspectives on what's the latest in the news. And two, they use the topic layer and the knowledge graph to understand user interests and how they progress over time. Users can also provide direct feedback to further customize their feed by following or unfollowing topics, selecting show more or show less, and choosing not to see content from certain publishers. But here are the takeaways. The click-through rate across industries in Google Discover is actually 11%. The average click-through for traditional search is 4%. This is big. And Google Discover impressions are only recorded when a Discover card is scrolled into view. This is relevant for your reporting in Google Search Console. While search impressions are recorded for a URL when a user sees a search result that includes the URL. So in some ways, the metrics are a little bit more accurate. The study also found that URLs usually only receive traffic for 3 to 4 days, and most of that traffic has occurred 1 to 2 days after publishing. However, a caveat here, I have access to Google Discover data for federal.gov sites. They've got great evergreen content, and I've seen some of their evergreen content surface well after it was published. Currently, one has a 2019 published article surfaced in Discover. So, how should you capitalize on this trend? Well, one, you need to be mobile friendly and include high quality images, at least 1,200 pixels wide. And this interest-based content is personalized, so you have to write in a way that's going to resonate with your most passionate users. This means you really need to know your users. And you should be really tying your content to current events if you can. You also should optimize your video assets and add them to your newly created Discover content. And finally, you should monitor your success. And with Google Discover, this means exporting your data manually from Google Search Console as the data is not available via the API. So that's your tip for today. Think about Google Discover and how you can work on optimizing your content for Google Discover. Thanks for listening. Come back tomorrow for another SEO tip.